Jordan.
Iain.
Who took a selfie, realised how ugly they were, condemned all technology, and now lives life as a hunter-gatherer.
Sylvester Stallone.
No, two guys. What? Hello, everybody out there in the world of podcast entertainment enjoyers. This is Two Guys, What's Up? Episode number 20, the most fantastical podcast around in this area. My name is Iain, and I am joined today by the peak of all human evolution and who we all aspire to be like, Jordan. Jordan, how are you?
I'm feeling great because I am the peak of evolution and who we all aspire to be.
Yeah, illness is the aim of the game. What we all want to do. Persistent illness.
Yes, everyone's dying to know. So just how ill are you this week, guys?
I'm sure people are really sick of us spending about 20 minutes at the beginning of every episode talking about how ill we are.
The irony is people are sick of us talking about being sick.
Yeah.
Sickception. So are you feeling any better yourself?
To be honest, yeah, I think I am. I've been feeling a lot more clearer. My voice is back to normal, which is nice. I think I'm about 100%. So to be honest, I think I could probably, I'm feeling so good. I think I could probably do a backflip.
Honestly, I wouldn't bother. Don't do it.
No, it's fine. One second. Give me a go.
No, Iain, don't.
No, hang on.
Oh, I felt that. Your head just hit the ceiling.
Oh, God! Jordan! Call an ambulance or something! Help!
I told you. This is self-inflicted. I'm not calling them again.
I think my spine is sticking out of my elbow.
Oh, is that what it is? Thought you were the hunchback of Notre Dame for a second.
That's not funny, just help!
Sorry. I mean, you'll be fine. Just get an ice pack.
Okay, right. No, I think if I stay in this position, I should be alright for the rest of the episode.
But your head is resting on your foot.
It's fine. The microphone fell over, so it's perfect positioning, really.
Well, I suppose as long as it worked out.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm feeling so much better myself.
That's good to know.
So much so, you know what? I might even try this little backflip myself.
I would not advise it. It's not a good
right,
idea.
I'm going to do it. Hang on.
No,
Here
Jordan.
we go.
Oh my... Oh, God.
Bastard.
That is not normal. I thought I was in bad shape. I can't tell where your arm begins and your toes end. Are you okay?
I've never felt better.
I'd call you an ambulance, but my arms are out of reach.
I think, should we move on to something so that we take our mind off the pain?
I think that's probably a good idea.
So, what have we got coming up today?
1 second. Oh, that's better.
Oh, what did you do?
I think I've just blocked off some kind of crucial artery or something. It stopped the pain anyway. I feel numb. I'm great now. I might try that backflip again.
So you can't get yourself off the ground. You know, I think I might try it myself. Hang on. Oh, yeah.
It's good, isn't it?
I mean, it's tingly.
Yeah, that should subside in 8 to 10 working years.
Yeah, I think I'm all good now. Let's crack on.
Smashing, let's fucking jump into it then. Well, today we decided for episode 20, the super special second 10th episode, that we would change things up a little bit. And after last week, I came up with some would you rather questions for you, Jordan, which I am very much looking forward to getting into.
Okay, I'm slightly scared.
You should be. I told somebody that this was coming up in a future episode. He said, and I quote, "I can see that very quickly divulging into the most obscene erotic stories I've ever heard." It's going to be a hot one.
Brilliant.
And what have you got coming up, Jordan? As we have decided to change things around, I'll let you explain, because my tongue is going numb.
That's the backflip. There's the sexy voice we all knew. So, we have decided to change things up, as it is episode 20, and Iain thought it was necessary to celebrate on every even number. So, we decided we're going to change things up, because Iain's going to do the whole silly questions at the end of the podcast. I'm going to take Iain's role, and I'm going to be speaking today about a book called Phone Calls from the Dead.
Awesome. Sounds very interesting. I hope that your segment isn't going to be better than what I normally prepare, because if it is, and people prefer it, I'll be very sad.
Well, I also hope not, because then that means that I'd have to think of 2 things per episode.
If you want, I'll just leave and you can continue on your own.
I'll just sit here doing backflips.
Yeah. Sit there. Backflip at the beginning of every episode. Fantastic segment from a new book. Questions at the end. Who the questions would be to, I do not know.
Yeah, it'll just be me and a Ouija board.
That's something I'd listen to be fair.
One guy, one Ouija.
Jordan's solo podcast coming soon.
Oh, God. Can't think of anything worse. So, should we start?
Fucking do it, me old pal. Enlighten me. Tell me about some phone calls from dead people.
Well, I mean, it's kind of all in the name, really, isn't it? But
Oh, is that it?
yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's just apparently they happen.
All right then, Jordan. Would you rather
Read phone calls from the dead or have a phone call from the dead?
That's a good question.
I think I would rather have a phone call from the dead.
Okay. What kind of phone call?
Not a nuisance call.
Oh, I was going to say like a guy who lived, retired, and died. A really enthusiastic telemarketer. It's like, ooh, have you heard about Microsoft's new virus control?
It'd be more like, have you heard of the Atari? Except they wouldn't have had telephones at this point, would they? So it was just strings and paper cups.
Yeah, so you just wake up one morning, find a paper cup next to your bed, you'd be like, oh, that looks interesting. I'll have a little listen. Ooh.
But where is it attached?
The afterlife, obviously.
Yeah, but it's got to attach to somewhere. Is that paper cup just on the floor?
No, well, the paper cup's on the bed, and then the string's attached to it, and then the other end is attached to...
This is my question.
Yeah, the other end, you know.
The other end, yeah, perfect.
The afterlife.
The afterlife end, okay. You and your scientific brain, jeez. Anyway, so today I'm going to be sharing a bit of information from the book Phone Calls from the Dead.
Interesting.
It is a fascinating read that delves into a perplexing and unexplained phenomenon whereby individuals receive phone calls from deceased loved ones. The book was published in 1979 and written and researched by one paranormal investigator named D. Scott Rogo.
Oh.
Born in 1950, D. Scott Rogo was an American parapsychologist, writer, and lecturer who was known for his research into paranormal phenomena,
Delightful.
including ESP, ghosts, and UFOs.
Ooh, my favourite top 3 subjects.
Doesn't say Bigfoot, though.
Dump him then. Get rid
It's
of
gone
it.
down in my estimation.
Stop the podcast. Go read another book right now.
Give me some would you rathers. He became interested in the subject in the 1970s when he began to collect accounts from people who claimed to have received phone calls from their dead loved ones. While strange in and of itself, he found that these stories often shared certain similarities. And while it's important to note that not all reported phone calls share the same themes, as some stories have their own characteristics, the most common elements that have emerged from the accounts are as follows.
Probably a phone call, like the phone rings. Is that one of the common elements?
No.
You answer it. Is that another one?
No.
You hang up at the end?
Nah.
Oh, right. So everyone just answers their phone differently in all of these accounts.
Yeah.
Lovely.
That's how they answer it.
F***ing sheep.
The phone calls were often characterised by a strange static-filled quality, and people often reported hearing the voice of the deceased person on the other end of the line piercing through the static, although others simply heard breathing or even just complete silence.
Okay, can any of those last two really be attributed to a phone call from a dead person? Because if like you just heard... You're like, Grandma?
It's true. When I first heard that, I thought, yeah, that's not paranormal. That's called a prank call. It's like, I don't want to be knowing what they're doing on the other end causing that heavy breathing.
I guess they're just attributing the fact that it's got that static that would be found in the other calls that would have the voices, so they're drawing correlations that way.
Oh, you mean the apparent legit ones?
Yeah. So, like, if you hear your dead gran calling you and it has that same static noise, and then you hear a phone call that has that same static but no talking, you'd be like, oh, well, phone calls don't usually have that static noise, so are they related?
Yeah, I get that, but... Still, it's a bit of a far-fetched reach if that's all that's going off, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe it's a bit grasping at straws to kind of lump them in together as the same phenomena.
Yeah.
Just based on the one thing. I mean, someone could have just been calling them from the other end of the world.
Absolutely. Or they could have just been in a really rural area and had very little signal.
Very true. Well, I don't think they're mobile phones if it was researched in the 1970s, was it?
Oh, that's true, yeah. I mean, that would be paranormal.
Absolutely, yeah. So, like, you get a phone call saying, like, Dad's iPhone in the 40s or something. Inviting you around for tea.
The Nokia E70, whatever it was. Brilliant. But why it is indeed creepy is because although the receiver would hear complete silence upon answering, the call was supposedly from a loved one, as their name would appear on the phone when it rang, even though in some cases the phone had been disconnected or disposed of. Now that's strange.
Yeah, that completely just makes us disregard the last 5 minutes that we were talking about that not being paranormal because it had a reason for it.
Yeah, but still, I mean, how do you really know it was coming from those phones?
I guess in America they have like the equivalent of UK's 1471, where they do star 69 and it tells you the number that rang you.
Oh, I love star 69.
You dirty bastard.
What do you mean? I mean for retrieving who rang me.
Oh, yeah, that's one of my favourite things is a star 69. Who called me? Oh, it was Phil from down the road. Nice.
You know what? I always use the website. I think it is whocalledme.co.uk or something.
Yeah, I use it all the time.
It's great. And then there's so many X amount of complaints about this because it's some scammer saying they're from 3 and they have Virgin.
Yeah, they have Virgin. On star69.com.
Yeah, maybe I just didn't read enough of it. That's all.
You just picked out the keywords and came to your own conclusion.
Well, you did that. Brilliant. Moving on. Many of the reported phone calls occurred shortly after the person had passed away, often within a few days to a few weeks. In some cases, the phone calls may coincide with important dates or anniversaries. Kind of sweet, but sort of sad as well, I guess, if someone did, missing their loved one that's passed away and then it's on their date of their death or something like that, and they get a phone call from them going...
I thought that was going to be some really sweet sentiment you were going to lay on us then. You just gave us heavy breathing.
Just laboured.
I was thinking all the way through you saying that, I was going to say, yeah, like some kind of sweet sorrow, it's happy but it's sad, and then that was the punchline.
You never know. It could have happened.
It could have.
Apparently they did. So the phone calls are often brief, only lasting for a few seconds or minutes. I mean, if it's minutes, that's a long time for someone to be heavy breathing.
Yeah. They must have hyperventilated at least once.
Suppose if they're ghosts, they don't need to breathe though, do they?
That's very true, yeah. Why would they be doing it down the phone then?
Exactly. I mean, right, so let's say you've died.
Yep.
You wanted to get in touch with your wife. Mm-hmm. It's your anniversary.
Yep.
And you call her from this ghostly phone from another dimension. She answers, and you don't say, "Hi, it's me. Don't worry, don't panic." Instead, you're just like, ugh.
I would fart down the phone if I did that. Because then
probably would.
My wife would get the message. She'd be like,
"Oh, Ian's calling me, but he's dead."
Answers are like,
"Hello? Oh, he's okay. He's happy. He's in a good place."
Do you reckon she'd know it's just you?
Yeah, she'd know. Even if it was a withheld number, she'd be like,
"Who's calling me?" "Oh, it's Ian. Oh, he's letting me know he's happy."
Please, if that happens, do that.
You got it. I'll call you second.
Okay, all right, just save a bit of fart for me as well.
Only release half.
You can release most to your wife. She deserves it more.
Thank you. So kind. I better start practicing that.
Just save a little puff for me. So continuing, as mentioned earlier, the phone calls often had strange static-like sounds, although additionally some people also have reported hearing music, voices of their deceased loved ones, or other unexplained noises. In the book, Rogo recounts several stories of people who received these phone calls, but one from a more recent time is that of Charles Peck, who died in a train accident in 2008. Shortly after the accident, Peck's fiancée received a series of phone calls from his mobile phone. When she answered, all she heard was static and the sound of trains in the background. Even more strangely, the calls continued for several hours, despite the fact that Peck's phone had been destroyed in the crash. That is spooky.
That is spooky. Also, quite strange because you just said, like, in the intro to all of that, like, setting up, you're like, they only last, like, a few minutes.
Yeah.
They only ever come once, and then it's like, this one was continuous. They just kept blowing up the phone. They lasted for hours at a time. So it's just throwing everything, the research that the guy made just completely under the train, as it were.
He's talking tosh.
What a bloody tosher.
But what I wasn't sure about that sentence was, does that mean the phone call was continuous for hours or that they kept receiving calls for hours? I'm assuming it was the latter.
I think the way it sounded to me when you read it was they were getting multiple calls that were lasting hours at a time.
The phone call itself was lasting an hour or so at a time.
Yeah, so they were getting like 10 calls a day, all lasting like a couple hours.
You'd think this phone battery would have carked it, wouldn't you?
Well, you'd think a lot of things if it was destroyed and coming from the afterlife, but I think battery life is maybe not one of them.
That's true. Although, don't suppose ghosts maybe live off electromagnetic kind of...
There is a theory on that.
as it's a fourth dimension thing.
Yeah. Can you imagine, though, this wife, right? Your husband's just died. You're getting hundreds of calls every day. They're lasting hours sometimes. And the only thing you can think of...
Oh, the battery's good over there, isn't it? I wonder what generation of the iPhone they're on.
Yeah. It's true. Your reception's brilliant.
Do you want to come round next Sunday for lunch?
Well, actually, it's not because it's full of static.
Yeah.
Your reception's shit, but your battery lasts ages.
Yeah, well, that, you've got to give up some things if you want to strive for greatness,
I suppose.
Battery life is a given that people want, so if I lose a bit of audio quality, then I don't mind.
Except you don't hear you just hear static and trains.
Yeah, that's fine.
That makes the communication part of communicating with your partner slightly off.
1 train beep for yes, 2 train beeps for no.
I'll move on.
Okay.
Another story is that of Judy, a woman who received a phone call supposedly from her deceased husband. She claims that she heard his voice on the line and that he even spoke to her about things that only the two of them could have known. Although Judy was initially comforted by the call, she soon began to feel unsettled by the experience.
Yeah, that throws a bit of believability into it, because if you're getting details that only you and that other person could know,
Yeah.
that gives it a bit more credence, I guess. A bit more believability factor.
Although, did anybody else hear this phone call other than Judy?
That is very true, and it is unverifiable. The only thing you'd really have to go off would be how she tells the story, like if it seems believable.
Yeah, I suppose. It's just, at this point, this is when you find out Judy is just schizophrenic.
That is, yeah, I mean, there are a lot of other factors it could be, so let's just disregard it all.
Yeah, fuck him. In the early 1990s, a man named Tom Butler was staying at a hotel in Miami, Florida. Late one night, he received a phone call in his room from a woman who claimed to be his deceased wife. The voice spoke to him for several minutes, discussing intimate details of their life together. When Butler tried to call the hotel operator to trace the call, he found that the phone was in fact not working.
Whoa.
Yeah. So again, this could be just like Judy, some guy who just thinks he hears something.
On the other side of the old paperclip, it could be, again, another case of these little low-level idiot spirits that try and make you believe things. You know, those buggers from the fourth dimension. So they call you on the phone and they're like...
Just to be a jeb.
Yeah, and then just like trying to just being like trickster fuckers and just being like, oh yeah, I'm your wife. Remember that time we went out for pina coladas? And you're like, oh my God, it is you. And then they're like, oh, by the way, go into the woods and snog a goose at 4 a.m. And then, it makes you do weird stuff. And yeah, so it's just like drawing off your energy kind of thing. So yeah, 2 equally believable possibilities there.
/ unbelievable.
I guess we probably couldn't attribute every single case to schizophrenia.
I mean, you could.
Well, we could, but we'd probably be wrong.
How much do you reckon goes undiagnosed?
Couldn't even hazard a guess.
Jordan, what do you think? I'm not sure.
Let me ask my audience behind me. Sorry if they're being too noisy, they won't shut up.
I'll ask my audience in my bathroom next time I'm gigging. So the next day, he discovered that the room that he'd been staying in was haunted by a ghost of a woman who had committed suicide there several years earlier.
Aha!
Maybe answers that.
Yeah, it gives a bit more credence to my fourth dimension theory there.
That is true. And you mentioned that in episode 8, didn't you?
I did indeed. If you haven't listened to that, go now! No, wait till the end of this one, then go!
In 1979, a woman named Pat this name is going to do my head in. Conklin.
Spell it?
Conklin.
Concline?
Well, there's no E on the end.
Conklin? Conclude?
Conklin, I think it is, yeah.
Just call her by her first name.
Patty Patterson.
Bigfoot.
It all makes sense.
it all relates, full circle.
In 1979, a woman named Pat Conklin received a phone call from a deceased mother. The mother had passed of cancer several months earlier, but when Conklin answered the phone, she heard her mother's voice on the other end. The voice told her to go to her father's house and retrieve a piece of jewellery that she had left there. Conklin did, as she was told, and found the jewellery exactly where her dead mother said it would be.
Oh, very good.
So that is interesting if that's true.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, I mean, that sounds like another one of those things where they're like, oh, go do this little challenge and stuff, and it turns out to be a load of bollocks, but luckily she did find it, so that's nice.
Yeah, that's true. Unless it was someone who wanted to start being a Jeb and then gave her something to do that resulted in something genuine,
Yep.
but then thereafter going to be a whole load of nonsense. Reel them in.
Yeah, that's something that they are reported to do, to be honest.
Yeah, so it could be. You never know.
Could be, yeah. We never heard the rest of the story, did we?
And we never will.
Because she was led off a cliff.
Just close your eyes and walk forward. It's very windy. So really, what could be causing these strange phone calls from beyond the grave? Well, there's no easy answer to that question, but some researchers have suggested that they could be the result of a phenomenon known as instrumental transcommunication. This theory points to the idea that the dead are able to communicate with the living by manipulating electronic devices, such as phones and radio signals. I suppose similar to the spirit boxes. I guess that's how they're kind of meant to work, is that right?
Yeah, I think that's what they go along the lines of. So it's the ghosts or spirits or whatever it is being able to manipulate the signals, like you say, to get a message across. So I guess it would make sense that they could use all mediums.
True. Others, however, have suggested that calls could be a result of a psychological phenomenon such as grief-induced hallucinations or simply wishful thinking.
I'm not quite sure how much I believe that. I mean, it sounds like the more logical thing, but I don't really think you could hallucinate your phone ringing at you and then seeing someone's... I mean, if there are other people in the room that see it as well.
True. That is if other people are there to witness it, isn't it?
Very true, yeah. But I mean, there must have been at least once, somebody that witnessed it, and even if that one story is true and something strange did happen, then that's, astounding and bizarre.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's such a shame that we'll never really know, but
Very
interesting
true,
to ponder on.
Absolutely.
Or, how about this? Maybe they're just reliving the memories of when them and their partner would find themselves heavy breathing after a lengthy night of phone sex. And who really knows?
They're just replaying that memory.
You'd never know. They could be stuck in this little time warp of... and,
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
I mean, whatever the cause, sexy time or not, these stories of phone calls from the dead are indeed very fascinating, and they raise intriguing questions about the nature of death and the afterlife, and phone sex. Rogo's work on this, and some other subjects he envisaged, couldn't continue because unfortunately his life was cut horrifically short when he was murdered in 1990 at the age of just 40.
Aww.
I know. The case remains unsolved to this day, and the circumstances surrounding his death have led to much speculation and controversy over the years. Now, I don't want to add conspiratorial fuel to this already batshit bonkers fire, but could you say Men in Black?
Oh, well, maybe. Maybe he was onto something and they couldn't let his work continue.
Possibly so. There's silence in the freedom of speech.
Although his book's now released and other people are going to get interested and then start researching. Why not cut it off at the source and go to wherever it is and stop the people making the calls?
True. Maybe he's just feeling a bit, like that kid was from the other episode where he just hates life now and he's like, yeah, f*** it, let everyone suffer. He's not wanting to say to the people in heaven, come on, stop calling these people because it got me into a lot of trouble. And actually, he's like, at this point, yeah, f*** it, life's shit now. Men in Black fuck me over. You know what, everyone else can suffer that too.
So he's walking around town now as like a Vodafone salesman handing out phones. Yeah, call your loved ones.
Battery's great on this.
Yeah, 1,000 free minutes.
Your calls last 7 continuous hours.
Does this one have an MP3 player? Shut up, call your dad.
Maybe all mobile phone salesmen are in the same boat. You never know.
Maybe, yeah, they're the only ones that get into the afterlife.
Who knows? So, Ian, I'm ready to answer some questions of would I rather do X, Y, or Z?
Fantastical. I cannot wait to ask you these. You have got 10 would you rather questions.
This is going to be so easy.
Oh, I'm sure they will be, Mr. Jordan. They start off rather easy.
Told you.
A little bit of, oh yeah, that's pretty cool, and then they end on, how would you much prefer your body to be damaged?
Okay. So I like the easier ones of would you rather orange juice or apple juice?
Okay, well, 9 questions then. Okay, so question number 1.
Okay.
Jordan.
I'm ready.
Would you rather be able to see 4 seconds into the future or be able to travel back in time, but you only have the ability to travel back in 10-year increments?
Oh, that's a difficult one. So I can only travel forward by 4 seconds.
You can only see 4 seconds into the future.
Oh, sorry. See 4 seconds in. Okay.
or travel back in time.
That could be really helpful, especially if a car is about to plough into me.
Very true. But how many times has that happened to you already?
I mean, about 5.
In fact, just today.
Yeah.
You really need to start opening your eyes when you cross roads, mate.
I know. Look left, right, left again.
That's the one, yeah. Remember the hedgehogs?
I used to love that advert.
I love that advert, yeah.
Stop, think, then go.
I'll link it in the
It's so
description if
good.
I can.
Oh, yeah, please do.
For anyone who hasn't seen it. And then you'll be king of the road.
That's the one. It was a great little 12-bar blues thing that played as they sang that. It's great.
You had to make it theoretical, didn't you? Oh, yeah, there's a real sick 4/4 swung beat over that. Yeah, real good.
It's a shuffle, actually. Yeah, it's a shuffle.
Oh, well, my mistake. I wasn't a drummer back then.
I remember because the advert used to come on while I was in the living room playing guitar, and I used to just play along to it. It was so much fun.
Nice.
I might have to do a cover.
How old were you when that came out?
About 2.
You what? You were playing along to it when you were 2?
Yes.
So you're a prodigy
The
then.
peak of evolution and who we all aspire to be.
Ironically enough, I think that's the band you started, wasn't it? Prodigy?
So what would I choose? I would probably... okay, I've just found a loophole.
Loopholes aren't allowed.
Well, if I couldn't see 4 seconds into the future, and I was just about to get hit by a bus, can I just go back 10 years?
Well, it depends if you're dead or not.
Well, just before and be like, yep.
At any point in life, you can jump back 10 years, but then you have to then obviously relive them 10 years.
Could I change the way that my life meandered?
I don't think you'd really be able to do that in any meaningful way because you don't know what the outcome would have. If you, say, went back 10 years and thought, I want to change my life for the better, this time I won't go to college, instead I'll just start working, you might then end up working in Burger King for a group of Bigfoot bosses.
Oh, I'd love that.
Yeah, but they pay you in flip-flops.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I tell you what, I'll go for the 4 seconds.
Okay, fair enough. That's not what I would have chosen, but fair enough.
Well, screw you.
Well, I could just live my life, and then just jump back 10 years, get back to my 20s, live my life again, jump back 10 years, jump back 10 years.
That's true.
That's what I would have gone for.
I've made my bed now.
Yep, fine. Go to sleep. Okay. So, question number 2. Would you rather undergo a root canal or an appendectomy? But the catch is, whichever you choose has to be under no form of pain relief.
I think I would go for the appendix.
Yeah?
I think so.
As I hate teeth and anything of that nature, I'd probably do the same. But have you ever heard that story about a gentleman who was anesthesia awareness, I think it's called? He got put to sleep and the muscle relaxant, which stops you moving, worked on him, but the anesthesia
I've heard
didn't.
this.
And he had a 2-hour
Yeah.
surgery or something, completely anesthesia free, and couldn't relate to anyone or
Yeah.
let anyone know. And I think he ended up actually committing suicide because he kept reliving it and he couldn't sleep and he couldn't,
Oh,
he
right.
couldn't live happily. So yeah, very, very sad story. But
Yeah, thanks for regaling us with this, this joyous information.
it's just mental. I just thought you might like to have that bit of information under your belt if you're going to choose the appendectomy. So
But this would be my choice, though, wouldn't it?
It
And
would
I
be.
would be able to move, I guess.
yeah, you would, but that's probably not a good idea. You got someone scalping you and you're there writhing around like a dirty trout.
Dirty trout. I could at least scream, oh, fuck.
I guess so, yeah.
Which is known to reduce pain.
Well, I said no form of pain relief, so
Oh, so no swears.
no swearing.
Oh, golly gosh.
You can do that one. I'll let you off with it. Okay, no then. Question number 3. Would you rather orgasm 150 times a day or never have an orgasm again?
Oh. Ooh, let me think about this. What defines orgasm?
I don't really want to go into detail, John. And if you don't know by now, then
Then I don't know what I'm missing.
come round, I'll help you.
Because a man can ejaculate without having an orgasm. So,
That is true.
And I think 150 times a day would be really awkward when I'm trying to teach. So I think I would go for never again.
Okay, fair enough. Wow, that'd be quite the feat to do that.
Well, I wouldn't have to do anything.
Keep your hands busy.
It's all right. I've got cards. I've got guitars. It's fine.
Fantastic. You'll be set there. Okay, so a rather easy one. This one is a rather difficult one. I found this whilst trudging the internet, and I think it's quite a good one.
Okay.
Would you rather be trapped in a romantic comedy with your enemies or be trapped in a horror movie with your friends?
Ooh. I don't like to think I've got any enemies.
Let's pretend you do have enemies and they all hate you and you hate them. You're in a romantic comedy with them. So they're like, I'm going to fucking kill you. And you're like, shut up and suck me off.
See, romance and comedy, are kind of cool things. So I dare say that even if I was with people who were my enemies, I guess I'd still have a fairly good time.
I guess that's probably true. I mean, if you were in a horror movie, you'd probably just see all your friends get killed.
Exactly, and that doesn't sound great. You know, if I was with my bestest of close friends and I was just about to get murdered by Saw, I'm not sure I'm loving that. So I'm going to go for the romantic comedy with enemies.
Okie dokie.
Easy.
So, you're glaring at each other, like, I hate you, and you're like, come over here and cuddle me, and then everyone has a good laugh.
Exactly. How brilliant is that?
Sounds delightful.
It does.
Okie dokie. Right, so this is a bit of a longer one, so you're going to have to keep your ears open.
Yep.
Would you rather find out and be able to prove what the reason behind every single paranormal encounter is, but have no one believe you and have everyone think you're mad, resulting in having no friends, or make up the fact that you know what it is, releasing a book on the matter, earning you a modest living for the rest of your days, essentially making a living from knowing that you're a liar and deceiving millions or maybe billions of people, causing changes in religion and faith all around the world?
I would probably go for the latter.
Yeah, so you could live knowing you're a liar and literally changing people's lives, taking them away from a faith that, for all we know, could be correct, and you're deferring them from that for your own personal gain.
Yes.
Okay.
And the reason why is because...
Jordan's an asshole.
Yeah. Later on, I could surely say, actually, it wasn't true. I wanted to see what would happen and then just let myself off.
No, you can't get yourself off. Oh, you said let yourself off. Sorry, my mistake.
Whereas if I'm cold and alone with just my thoughts, that's awful.
To be honest, I would prefer the first one.
Would you?
Yeah.
But no one wants to know you.
I'll just follow people around in town, just be like, hey, do you want to know what ghosts are?
You just wear a sign like a sandwich board.
Yeah.
No, that's awful. I couldn't do that.
Okie dokie, fair enough. I guess we know where your priorities lie there, Jordan.
Oh, yes, we do.
So, on to... I forget which one this is.
Is this 5?
No, this is 6. So, every time you have sex, would you rather have your hands turn into whisks or have your Long John Jordan schlong turn into a Greg's sausage roll?
I think my wife would appreciate the sausage roll more. Does it regenerate after?
No.
Oh, so that means that once that's bitten off, that's it. The Long John sausage schlong is no more.
Oh, the Long John Jordan schlong.
So it doesn't regenerate, that's it.
Yeah, you've only got one sausage roll.
Does it go off?
Only at the end.
But I can't climax anymore, so...
Let's assume that you can. Yeah, whisk hands, so might be a bit awkward.
I mean, what would come out? Ketchup or brown sauce?
Just more sausage meat, I guess. That's what's on the interior of a sausage roll. We'll have to get Greg's in on this to ask them.
Yeah. Bit of mayo.
From my armpits.
Won't ask how it got there. The whisk thing sounds awful as well, but it's just temporary, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's just while you're having some naughty adult time.
And is the sausage roll temporary?
Yep.
Okay. I'd go for the whisk.
Okay, good choice. I'd do the same, I think.
Oh, that would be really awkward.
You might say it might get a little bit whiskey. Okay, this is a good one for you, Jordan.
Hit me.
Would you rather, every single time there is a full moon, you turn into a zombie for the night, or you throw up 10 pints of slugs?
Oh, when I turn into a zombie,
Yep.
Does that mean that anyone around me is in danger?
They are susceptible to your afterlife teeth, yes.
What if someone shoots me or kills me?
Well, then you did.
Ah, shit. Then I'd have to go for the slugs, and that is awful.
Okay, I mean, you could just ask someone to chain you up every full moon in the basement so you can't actually go anywhere.
That's a really good point. I'll go for that.
Yeah, okay. Right, fair enough.
Ain't doing slugs.
You were almost.
Nearly. What was it, 10 pints?
10 pints of sluggies.
That's awful.
That is pretty grim, isn't it?
Like your body full of slugs.
They just like generate in there, though. You don't have to eat them first.
No. Oh, well, okay, I might go for that then.
Why did you say so?
You've sold it.
So you go for chained up zombie.
Yes, chained up zombie.
You could make like a little business out of it, like allow people to come and take photos of the real life zombie and like £10 a picture.
Oh yeah, could sell me.
Yeah, sell your dirty zombie body.
Good idea.
Cheers.
Yeah, I'm even more sold.
Okie dokie. Right, this is a weird one, right? And I think this is going to sound obvious until you think a little bit more deeper about it.
Right. We'll find out.
Would you rather live forever or wake up every day with a new superpower?
Ooh, live forever is such a difficult one, isn't it? I'm not sure that I would want to.
Yeah, I think it'd be horrible. I mean, living for a long time would be pretty cool, but to continue living even after the entire universe has undergone a heat death and there is nothing, I think that'd be quite maddening.
A miserable existence, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you're just floating around in a empty vacuum. Unless, you got to experience the Big Bang again.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You'd only have to wait another, 3 billion years or something, and then you could just get back to your normal life.
See, here's my question, though. Do I continue to age to the point where I can't even move? I'm beginning to turn into dust, but I'm still around.
Well, that is another point, you got to factor into your decision, because, I guess you would just continue to age until you are just a living pile of dust.
And so, they'll just see my eyeballs there, and I'll be like, oh, this is shit. I wish I had a superpower to make me better.
Okay, so on to the second one then. So if you were to wake up every day with a new superpower, imagine that you live for 80 years. That's 365 times 80. Add X amount of leap year days in there.
Yeah.
That's got to be I don't even want to say a number because it's going to be totally wrong, but millions of new superpowers.
Okay, this is Jordan from the future speaking. So it turns out that 80 years is about 30,000 days worth of superpowers. So that's a little under the estimation of millions of superpowers, Iain, you clever schnizzle. Anyway, let's continue.
So by the time you get to day 10, you're already going to be running a little short on the actual useful superpower. By the day 8,000 or something, your superpower is going to be something like, oh, wow, I've woken up and now I have the ability to piss tea. While it's hot, Oh, I can turn unopened envelopes into oranges.
See, I'd actually find that fascinating, though. It'd make every day interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but by the end of it, it's every time you open your eyes and look at someone, they turn into a pile of dog shit or something like that. So they'd get quite detrimental to your life in the end.
So what you're saying is you can't turn these powers off or use them at will?
I guess you would be able to, but then
it's fine.
Maybe one of the powers is the thing from the Fantastic Four where it's just like a giant rock creature. What if yours is you're an 8-foot tentacle dildo or something like that?
It's been my dream.
That's your new form, and all you have to do is lie in your bed all day. Until you wake up the next day.
And then I'm a 4-foot dildo.
Yeah, you just have to wait until the superpower comes in where you can change your body shape and then you can finally revert back to being human, but then God knows what's going to come in the future.
That's true. Still, I think I'd go for that.
Yeah.
If I've got the ability to turn the power off and not use it.
I guess you would. I mean, not every superhero walks around just laser eyeing people, do they? So
no, exactly. So I think that would be a relatively safe thing. The only thing that would put me off, but I'd still go for it, but it would still put me off, is the fact that you maybe wouldn't know what that superpower is until you do it.
Yeah, until you kind of discover it.
Exactly. And then, that's when you realise that you've set your couch on fire or something.
Or you go to the toilet, I wonder what the superpower is today. Sit down, all of a sudden you find out it's the ability to shit skyscrapers.
Or it's the ability to just morph somewhere else.
Yeah, like your parents' living room.
Yeah. And just there I am, squatting down. I think I'd still go for that.
Okay, fair enough. Sounds good.
Thanks.
Okay. Right, on to the last one. And this is the one which I said at the beginning, which is probably going to be quite body-destroying in one way or another.
Okay, I'm ready.
Would you rather go out on a date with Bigfoot or get visited by a succubus, both resulting in sex? And bear in mind, Bigfoot is a top.
What's a succubus?
A succubus is a type of spirit that comes and drains your energy through the means of sex.
I didn't realise that that's what it was called,
There's two forms, one that visits a male and one that visits a female, so there's an incubus and a succubus.
Incubus is the one that I've heard. Some great songs too, actually. But so it's get ripped wide open by Bigfoot, or
drained of all your life essence by a succubus.
Does it replenish?
Maybe. Who knows? I didn't write the questions. Oh, wait, yeah. But you have a nice meal beforehand.
I think I'd go for Bigfoot, and what I'd do is just beforehand...
Run away.
I'd get out the handcuffs and I'd chain him up.
No, this is getting even kinkier.
And then I'd fucking lock that door and piss off.
Are you really going to restrain a 12-foot Bigfoot?
Well, it's not about restraining because, this Bigfoot thinks, oh, this is interesting.
No, because he's the top in the situation, so he's not just going to let you handcuff him.
Why not? And also, does it have to be a male Bigfoot? Can we not have a Mrs. Bigfoot?
Well, that's very true.
Who might enjoy...
The seductive touch of a Jordan.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm not going to allow that. It's a gentleman foot.
Okay. The biggest of big feet.
The girthiest Bigfoot around.
Can we go to Burger King first?
That's where the date happens, yeah.
This is such... I think I would just get food poisoning and not go on the date.
Yeah, just order an undercooked burger.
No, that might be too late. I'll eat something shit the night before.
Fair enough,
And then, just text them, oh, I'm really sorry. I'm shitting through the eye of a needle tonight, so we will have to do this another time, and then block the number.
While I admire your commitment to the escape there, I don't think you'd actually have to go through with it, because you could just text them saying that anyway. You don't actually need to nearly kill yourself.
That is a very good point. It's just because I'm such an honest guy.
Oh, yeah. We've learned that from question 5, didn't we?
What was that one?
The one about would you rather lie to the entire world or not?
Oh. I'd later come clean. It's fine. Out of curiosity, okay?
Yeah.
What would you have chosen on the last one?
You haven't chosen one yet. You can't give me I'd text the day before and cancel. You have to let me know which one.
Okay. I'm leaning, unfortunately, towards Bigfoot because I'm not sure what this succubus is going to do.
I would go for the succubus because, it's a date. I agreed to be there. I knew what was going to happen at the end of it. And then afterwards, I'd just get a exorcist to get him to stop sucking me dry of my life.
What if you've got no energy at all to get this exorcist?
Well, I guess I'd die.
Hey! Always a happy ending. So that would be what you would choose then?
Yeah, I'd go for the succubus. I mean, they are said to appear as very beautiful and, they give you, the best time of your life, in order to make you become addicted to it. And so you don't want it to stop taking your life from you. At least you'd have a bit of fun with it.
That's true. I think I still have to go for Bigfoot.
Okay, fair enough. We can double date. It's great.
Oh, God. What an evening that would be.
That'd be fantastic.
I'd never go camping again.
I tell you what, you just go home. I'll have them both.
Yeah. Too good, I can't choose.
Yeah. Where's the bad option?
Spoilt for choice.
Is that us done for today then?
I think it is.
Fantastic.
That felt so weird.
What, being the other way around?
Yeah, and Bigfoot.
Bigfoot in the end there. Yeah, so fantastic. Thank you very much for listening to another well-rounded episode of Two Guys What's Up. Episode 20. I can't believe we're in the 20s now. It's a bit mad.
It is a bit mad, isn't it? What an accomplishment.
Absolutely, yeah. 20 episodes.
20 episodes of utter tosh.
What a bunch of toshers. Reuse joke, you're fired.
Yeah. That's it. The end of Two Guys What's Up.
John will be continuing next week on his own, doing every segment himself.
Just laugh to myself.
Thank you very much for tuning into today's episode of Two Guys What's Up. We thoroughly hoped you enjoyed it, and if you would like to get in touch with us, have an idea you'd like us to research, or have something read out in a future episode, or even if you just want to say hello, you can find all the links to our socials where you can reach us at twoguyswhatsup.com, which will be linked in the description of this episode for your clickety-clap pleasure. Don't forget to follow the show wherever you listen so you don't miss another episode, and maybe even tell a friend. When you go out on your date with Bigfoot, don't forget to tell him about this one podcast you listened to this one time that mentioned him, and maybe he'll tell all his cryptid pals and they'll come forward and just be like, hey, we exist and we want to date all you guys. Wouldn't that just be fantastic?
Oh yeah.
Jordan sounds enthused. If you're enjoying the show and you are feeling kind, a 5-star rating and review in the Apple Podcast app would go a long way to help us out here, and we would be eternally grateful. But on that note, thank you very much for listening. You all have an amazing week, and we will see you next Monday. Bye 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 bye.
Ciao. Bye.
Sheep.